Hey everyone, welcome back to KDX Bricks Analytics. I am Kevin, and if you saw, my last video was covering all of the 2023 data in favor of Lego sets to invest in. And what do I typically do after posting a video running down a bunch of really good sets for investing? I make a video of not top sets to invest in, i.e. all of the sets that we likely should skip for investing. Now, I don't always agree, so at the end of this video, I will give you my top 3 that I disagree with and that I am looking at for investing, and I'll give you my top 3 that I absolutely agree with and I am absolutely avoiding for investing. Here we are on Brick Fanatics again, and this is the full list that they recently published of the sets that they expect to retire at the end of this year. Now remember, this list, especially early in the calendar year, is going to be 95 to 98% accurate. Throughout the year, a set will be added or subtracted here and there, and of course I will update all of my data accordingly. That's enough intro. Let's start looking at these sets to skip for investing. The first one being 75368, the Darth Vader Mech. It came out in August of 2023 with 2 other mechs, $16 price point, 139 pieces, and basically it's a few pieces and a pretty standard mech, but with one minifigure, in this case a Darth Vader minifigure. It is exclusive to this set, and we all love getting as many unique Darth Vader minifigures as possible, but I don't think this minifigure is really going to sell this set. On the table, it has 6 mentions against investing and reselling, and of course the enthusiasm score for all of these sets will be 0. I agree, this is definitely a set that I am skipping, but it's not because it's a Star Wars mech that created a bunch of controversy because they're non-conical. It's because it's a Darth Vader mech. This is not a set I would want to build or display because I feel like Darth Vader in a mech suit has actually lost some of his powers. He's stronger and more powerful on his own, doesn't need a mech. We've talked about that in the past. The next one on the table is 75370, the Stormtrooper mech. This one got 5 mentions against investing, and very similar story. I'm not as negative on this one. I'm probably not going to invest in it unless it goes on some huge discount. The Stormtrooper minifigure is good, but it's not exclusive to this set. The only outside chance I have for this one is if people want to make a huge Star Wars scene and they say, hey, it'd be cool to have a cavalry unit basically of Stormtroopers, again, not conical, but would be fun for a unique Star Wars scene. And then I wanted to show there is a third mech. This one actually could kind of make sense. Boba Fett zips around with his rocket pack a lot, and it's almost like this is adding to that capability. But most importantly, the Boba Fett minifigure with all of that printing, the chipped up the helmet and all the different colors and details on the helmet, the arm printing, the weathered printing on the torso, the hips, the leg, the toes, super good minifigure. So some people are saying maybe this one could be okay. Again, I really want it on a very good discount. Next up on the table is Chewie 75371, 5 mentions. This is the large brick built Chewbacca that we all love to hate. $200 for 2,300 pieces, but it's a bunch of very similar brown pieces. A lot of hate for this set. I am not fully hating on this set. I am not investing in it at $200, but I think because there's so much hate that this one's going to go on a major discount before the end of the year. And if I can pick it up for just over 100, maybe 115, then I might get a couple. The best comparable set for this one is the brick built Yoda that retired in 2022, and then also the brick built Child that just retired. And I really don't think they're a perfect comparison. These are smaller, stocky. They're basically brick and stud blobs, whereas the Chewbacca set actually has some height to it and some sculpturing to the body, other than the eyes and the face that are absolutely an issue. Yeah, those eyes are rough. The teeth and mouth are okay. The nose is actually pretty good. My issue, which I've talked about a lot in the past, is that the head tapers to a pinhead basically at the top, when really it should be more oval or even rectangular with all of the hair kind of shape. But I've looked at this face so much that I've gotten a little bit used to it. Doesn't mean I like it, but I've gotten a little bit used to it. But I think this one is actually kind of different than the other Star Wars brick built. Again, with all the hate, it might fly under the radar a little bit. And remember, there are rumors that we're going to be getting a brick built C-3PO. This is 9to5toys.com, and this brick built C-3PO is not the set. It's just an example representative. I don't think we've got any official pictures yet, but here it is, Lego buildable C-3PO for $150. Now we got 2. Maybe Lego will do a 3rd, and there could be a little bit of a series or set here. So yeah, that's enough talking as positive as I can about this one. But the end of the day, I am absolutely avoiding it unless it is a hugely steep discount. I know I said 115, that's not even 50% off, so maybe closer to 50% off at $100. Another Star Wars set that gets a lot of negative buzz is 75341, Luke Skywalker's Landspeeder. If it actually retires at the end of 2024, it will have just over a 2.5-year shelf life. That's not very long for a UCS set. I actually like how it looks. I realize the whole set started as a meme and has continued as a meme. I like the color of it. I know that's not everybody's favorite, that kind of peach color. The engines look good. The one that's opened up and you can see all the interior detailing, wiring of the engine. That windscreen piece is good. The tubing around the nose. So there's a lot of good with this set. And if we look at previous UCS sets and sort them by the oldest to newest, all of these that we're looking at are original Star Wars ships in the UCS form. Some of these ships have been made again in UCS form, but the first of a UCS Star Wars ship historically has done pretty well. Obviously, the days of having a set go from $100 to over $1,000 are way in the past, but since this one is the first Luke Landspeeder in UCS form on a really good discount, because this is $240 for almost 1,900 pieces, that's way too expensive. So on a really good discount, maybe there's some room there to get a decent return on investment. But on the table, 4 mentions against investing and reselling. Next up is 75360, Yoda's Jedi Starfighter, also 4 mentions. The ship is okay, nothing special because it's basically an exact copy of what came out in 2017. It was a $25 MSRP and it's up to $46. I mean, I guess it's not bad. A little bit longer of a hold time. I don't think it jumped up that quickly. But if we look at camel, ignore the prices here because this is what it's selling for on Amazon. And I know most people don't resell on Amazon. I certainly don't yet, maybe someday. And so Amazon prices are typically a good 30 to 50% higher. But notice that here in early 2023, the value of this set decreased. And that's because the new one was announced and then came out in August of 2023. And so I see these two sets diluting each other because they're so similar that I don't think there's going to be much opportunity for value here, especially because this one starts out at the $35 price point. And so most of the increase in value for the one from 2017, in my opinion, is inflation. And then the huge bump that most Lego sets got in 2020 because Lego became hugely popular. Next up is a Microfighter, 75363, the Mandalorian N1. I totally agree. It's $16 for a pretty crummy Microfighter. And yeah, a decent minifigure and then a small Grogu that we have bunches of. Neither of the minifigures are exclusive. I just don't see how we can go from $10 to $16 for this Microfighter. And I realize that I think future Microfighters standard are going to be 12-ish, something like that. But still, the price is way too high and it's crummy, so I'm skipping it. Even if it's on a good discount, it's just not going to be worth it. 76210, the very large Hulkbuster, $550. This set is an absolute mess. Crazy expensive for just over 4,000 pieces. Typically, these hugely expensive sets are less than 10% on the price to part ratio. This one isn't even close. The design, the proportions are all off. It's kind of ugly. We have had way too many Hulkbusters. I realize this is the first one in this size, but many of us are suffering Hulkbuster fatigue. I saw it built in the Lego store and not something that I would want to have in my house taking up that much space. Now onto a bunch of sets that have 3 mentions against investing. First one is 21318, the Ideas Treehouse. Everybody loves this set. Mine is right up there on a shelf that you can't see. You can change out the foliage for different seasons, but the main reason people are negative on it is because it has been projected to retire a couple of times in the past. So people have stocked up, they've gotten them on good discounts, and then they've had to hold them a long time. At this point, because this set has sold so well for Lego, many people have already got it, and many people have got huge supply for someday if they can hopefully offload them and break even. I think if you buy a couple and hold on to them for 10 or more years, it's going to be awesome because it's one of the best Lego sets and, maybe the best idea set in my opinion. But I am absolutely skipping it. 21329, the Fender Stratocaster. And I talked about this one a lot in my last video. I actually like this one. It's $120, so expensive for the almost 1,100 pieces, but we've been able to get it for the high 80s, low 90s regularly. I think some concern is that it would be a narrow market because of guitar, but I think anybody that has any interest in picking up a guitar, even if they're not that good, they like music in general. I mean, I have good friends who like to go find up and coming bands. I could see them being really interested in this set. The fact that you can change it out as a red or black guitar, the strings are really well done. The strap is a nice piece. The tubes for the wiring is very good. And then the speaker is just just outstanding. Good electronics, interior details shown by taking that panel off, and then the back of it, I mean, that's spot on. I actually want one myself, and that would only be because I like music. I am terrible at playing any instruments. I have no rhythm, but still, I would absolutely love this set. I think I'm going to get one before it retires. 40613, the mini Disney Palace of Agrabah from Aladdin. $40, 506 pieces. It really is a beautiful set. There are no minifigures with it. I'm on the fence with this one because Lego has already produced 4 other mini Disney building type sets that all go together. So on this list, we've got the original mini Disney Castle, the Haunted Mansion that just retired, and then the new Ariel's Castle from Little Mermaid. And then on this other page, we've got the Peter Pan and Wendy's Flight Over London. This one does come with some minifigures. I could see people wanting to collect them all, and Disney fans can be really hardcore sometimes. But I will admit, I'm pretty biased because I grew up at the perfect age to be going to the theaters, seeing Aladdin, Little Mermaid, Lion King, and Beauty and the Beast. And, just perfect time for those 4 classic Disney movies. With 3 mentions against investing is 40640, the Lego Nutcracker. I agree, not one I'm going to be picking up. Next up is 43225, the Little Mermaid Royal Clamshell. A lot going on with this set. $160 for the 1,800 pieces, 5 minifigures. All of them are exclusive. They look pretty good. Ariel's got a lot of nice printing and detail. King Triton is a nice minifigure with good molds, but the star of the show is Ursula. But with all that said, I think it'd have to be on a huge discount. The $106 price point is just one of those weird price points that typically doesn't do well on the secondary market. Now on to the Hoopty, and I've made fun of this set a lot in the past. It is 420 pieces and $90. Clearly, this is a joke by Lego. There's no justification. Lego produces 400 plus legit sets a year. They thought it would be really funny to double the price on one and just see if or who is going to buy it and what the demographics would be behind buying this set, but it's basically not selling at all. And I appreciate the fact that Lego did this joke with a set that is absolutely ugly and horrendous. It's a gray blob. The minifigures are cool. The cats are cool. Yes, the ship is accurate to the source material, but nobody wants this set. And so I will invest in it if I find it for $15 on the shelf somewhere. 76243, Rocket Mech Armor. Right when it came out, there was a little bit of buzz for the Rocket minifigure. It's okay. Honestly, I like character, but the minifigure doesn't do much for me. It's a plain old mech. I am absolutely skipping this one. Superheroes mechs have not done well recently. Now on to Sonic Speed Sphere Challenge 76990. One of the Sonic playsets. The play features are awesome. The minifigures are okay. I love all the bright colors, but it is a action playset. They typically don't do well. Like the city stunt sets are awesome, but they're not going to do well. And then very similar is Amy's Animal Rescue. Same story, but this one is really interesting looking, and it has 3 minifigures, and one of them is unique. All right, now we're down to a bunch of sets that have 2 mentions against investing. The first one is the Icons Fairground Collection Loop Coaster. It's a really nice set, but it's $400, and I just don't see that many people wanting to take up that much space in their collection or their amusement park layout or their city layout, and then on top of it, be willing to pay $600-700 on the secondary market. The one comparable is the first Creator Expert roller coaster, also in the Fairground Collection theme, that retired in 2021. It was $380 and it's showing $356 on Brickset. 10308 Holiday Main Street. For me, it's actually one of the better, more recent Winter Village Collection sets. Lego is still sticking to the $100 price point, which is great, and in this case, it's for over 1,500 pieces. But if we look at recent Winter Village Collection sets that have retired, the buzz and the resellability of these sets has absolutely worn off. The Elf House, granted, not a very good set, but is down to $97. The Gingerbread House, a better one, but it's just up from $100 to $126 in over 2 years off the shelves. And then the one before that, the Winter Village Fire Station, I actually think would appeal to a lot of people, a lot of nostalgic winter look, but that one is just up to $115. If we keep scrolling down, previously, these Winter Village sets have almost doubled or more in price, but the cat's out of the bag, and so it's just an oversaturated market at this point, so I am going to skip that one. This Idea set 21339 BTS Dynamite. I watched the music video just so I would know what it is, but I hadn't really known about this K-pop band in the past. It's a pretty cool set, but it's $100 for 749 pieces. Yes, all the minifigures are exclusive, and the torsos on them look pretty good. I realize they're, city, basically minifigures and not Star Wars or superheroes or something like that, but still they look pretty good. But the $100 price point, I'm absolutely not investing in it. I will self-report that I did pick up 9 of these recently for $30 each at my local Walmarts. I will have to hold them through this year. They're already going for 55 or 60 on eBay, so maybe they'll creep up to 70 and I might unload them a little early and just grab 20 bucks of profit per set. I'm still wondering if that was a good idea, picking 9 up at 30 bucks, but the reason I did is because if we look at ideas and sort by basically the worst return on investment, they're all worth something above MSRP. I'm not going to read them all off, but looking at these, they're up a little bit. Research Institute 20 to 40. And then there's a bunch of GWP ideas sets, but if we make our way further down, nope, I got to go to page 1 and scroll all the way to the bottom. But like Adventure Time, 50 bucks and it's 57. Tron, $35 and it's $60. So it seems like if we get it on a very good discount, again, like the 30 bucks I got, odds are that at some point a couple years down the road, it'll be 120 bucks. 40573, Christmas Tree. We already talked about the Christmas set buzz wearing off, and this set is just horrendously ugly. The taper is off, it like tapers in, and then it straightens out a little bit, it tapers in. It's not an appealing Christmas tree to look at. All of the branch segments are absolutely flat other than the decorations on them. So ugly, ugly, ugly to me. An absolute skip. The gingerbread ornaments, it's just a small little $13 set, not even worth talking about. So yes, I'm skipping it. All right, a dream set. So this is the Dream Village, 40657. It's $30 for 434 pieces, so a really good price point. I think it's very appealing with all of the colors and the small builds and the unique shaping. The Dreams concept is that the builds are going to be more like what somebody would dream up as opposed to what somebody might design if they were a little more lucid, if you will. And I like that about this theme. I haven't seen the show. It sounds like the show is not great, and it sounds like it might not go on too much further. So there's a few in this theme that I am interested in if they're on a good discount. This is one that I think I'll skip, even though I acknowledge it's a really good price point. If we look at all the other dream sets, like the Nightmare Shark Ship, I think that one is super cool. And some of these remind me of the Elves theme, and some of those Elves sets did really well. Fantastical Treehouse, I don't like. Some of these other ones. But what's interesting is that all of these are expected to retire at the end of 2024, including this new one that just came out at the beginning of 2024. And so that's an interesting data point that makes us wonder, are we about done with this theme already? I hope not. I hope Lego can release a few more waves. But I did look up on Brick Fanatics. If we go down to the bottom here and we see that there are some new sets that haven't had the official pictures released for yet, they are not on Brick Fanatics retirement list. And so maybe they will end up being on the retirement list, or maybe we will have some dream sets go into 2025. If we can get some dream sets into 2025 and 2026 and get 3-4 good years of a theme, kind of like Nexo Knights, maybe some of the sets that were released in the original wave would be okay as an investment, but I'm still holding out and going to be just watching them closely. And again, the Dream Village is not one that I'm overly excited about. 42138, the Technic Ford Mustang Shelby. I agree, most Technic sets are not a good investment. 75344, Boba Fett Starship Microfighter. I disagree. It'll have a 2-year shelf life. The minifigure is outstanding. I know it's not an accurate Boba Fett, and I know that annoys some folks, but we've got some gunmetal gray in there, arm printing, lots of good details, and hey, any additional version, especially when it's unique to a set of Boba Fett, I think is a great selling point. We've been able to get this one for about $6 multiple times, and at that price point, I think it will be a good investment. And then the other reason is, and this is my ace in the hole, is because it's one of the few microfighters where you can fully enclose the minifigure behind the canopy windscreen, and I think it is a very good looking microfighter. I actually picked up 30 not too long ago. I know I got to hold them for a little while, but they don't take up a lot of space. 75346, the Pirate Snub Fighter. Absolutely agree. The 2 minifigures use the same headpiece, which is weird, and this is like a one-off scene in Mandalorian. I think season 3, does it say? No, but I think it's a one-off scene in Mandalorian season 3. I actually liked the scene, and the ship is kind of cool, but this one is 35 bucks for 285 pieces. Once people saw that, they wrote it off immediately. Nobody's paying attention to this set. 75359, Ahsoka's Clone Trooper Battle Pack with the basically micro swamp speeder. I really don't know on this one yet. There have been mentions in favor of it. There have been mentions against it. Some of the Star Wars battle packs do okay, and some of them don't do okay, and it's too early to tell. sell in my opinion. I'm just going to watch it throughout the year. Next are 4 Avatar sets, and I totally agree. There is no buzz around these sets unless you get them on a really, really good discount. This tree is kind of cool looking, but still, $150 for 1,200 pieces, very expensive. But I did recently pick up, I think it was 6 total boxes, and I forget which ones they were, but they average out to about 80% off. It was crazy clearance discounts right after the new year at Walmart. 76241 Hulk Mech Armor. Superheroes mechs are just meh, so I agree. 76251 Star-Lord's Helmet. Interesting looking set, but it's kind of weird because it's basically a pencil holder, very little buzz around it. $80 for 602 pieces. It should be $50. 76252 Batcave Shadow Box. $400 for a bunch of pieces of the same color. It's a great concept, but I do not see anybody wanting to pay $500, $600, $700 for this in the future, so I totally agree. 76262 Captain America's Shield. Good idea, very poor execution. $200 is expensive. I don't like all of the little line gaps that you can kind of see through. And if you look at the images, you can see how you don't have to angle it too far before you start seeing some of the superstructure on the back that holds it all together. And there's no strap or anything like that so that you can hold it, so you can't really do anything with it other than have it be a display piece. Whereas in comparison to Thor's hammer, $100 set, really clean, very few gaps, well done, and you can pick it up and, not really use it. You would destroy the set, but you can go through the motions of using Thor's hammer. Whereas again, you can't run around or walk around and actually hold this like it's Captain America's shield. So I'm definitely out on this set unless it is a greater than 60% discount. If we look at eBay, Thor's hammer, which is one we talked a lot about last year, is doing okay. When you add shipping on top, it looks like a number of them are selling for above MSRP. Of course, subtracting out shipping and fees, then you're not making much return on investment, but it just retired a month ago. So it would be, a standard year or two hold time. And we were able to get Thor's hammer on sale for $70 from time to time. So this one is a good sign. Maybe this one will drag this one forward a little bit. But again, I'm looking for a huge discount if I'm going to go in at all on this set. 76405, the huge Hogwarts Express Collector's Edition, $500, just over 5,000 pieces. It's a beautiful set. It's actually larger than standard Lego rails, so it's a display piece. You can't really play with it. Tons of minifigures, but at this price point, I honestly have no idea. Harry Potter is losing its appeal for investors and post-retirement buyers, and so unless there's some new information or a crazy good deal, I'm out on this set too. 76414 Expecto Patronum, 2 mentions against. I agree, not nearly enough transparent pieces to make it like the source material. I think it's gonna fizzle out, and as I stated, Harry Potter theme is hard to make money in right now. 76946, a Jurassic Park set. I don't invest in the Jurassic Park sets, don't know much about them, but I got 2 mentions against. Tales Workshop and Tornado Plane. We've already talked about some of the Sonic play sets. Another one that got some mentions against investing and reselling. 80036, the City of Lanterns. Check out my last video. I talked a lot about this one, and I actually like this one a lot for investing. It has a 4.4 on brick set. Oops, that was a wrong highlight. $160 for almost 2,200 pieces. Again, check out my last video. I think it's a good one. 21331, Sonic the Hedgehog Green Hill Zone, has 1 mention against investing. So we still have a bunch more sets to look at, but at this point in the table, they all only have 1 mention. And a lot of these have a lot of mentions in favor of investing. And again, I talked about all of them in my last video. Ideas generally do well, but this is one that I'm just not that excited about. I've never really been speaking very highly about it. 10306, Atari 2600. I think it's a really interesting looking set. I'm looking for it on a really good discount. 21178, the Fox Lodge. I don't invest in Minecraft either. Don't know much about them. Minecraft, the Animal Sanctuary. 21334, Jazz Quartet. $100 for over 1,600 pieces. A really unique build and unique idea with making these brick built, very human-like figures that I think are well done. I like the colors of the instruments, just very classic, nice platform that's all brick built. Most idea sets turn some sort of profit, so I actually kind of like this one. Hey, getting it on a really good discount would be great, but there seems to be very little buzz, so maybe it's flying under the radar a little bit. 21340, another Ideas, Tales of the Space Age. And yeah, I agree, this one is probably not going to do great as an investment. It's so simple, but I am biased because it's a really nice set. I just love the simplicity of it. It's beautiful. I like a lot of the space sets, as you know. 31143, birdhouse. This one's pretty adorable. And then the next one is 31144 exotic pink parrot. Lego's produced a number of bird sets recently, and there are some pretty enthusiastic and emphatic bird people out there. So something to keep an eye on, but I don't think these sets are particularly special. A few Friends sets, and I really need to do a video doing full analytics review on the Friends theme. I don't know much about them. I've picked a few up here and there because they've been on a really good discount, but I really don't know what to look for yet on Friends sets. But this one is the Holiday Ski Slope and Cafe for 80 bucks. I mean, it looks pretty cool. A lot of cool detail, and it looks like it could be pretty fun to play with. 41757 Botanical Garden. This one I am a little bit surprised is on the not top sets table. This one is pretty unique and a standout. A lot of foliage. I think this one could be pretty interesting. I want to look at some of the other pictures, get some of the interior. Yeah, so there's a lot of very visually appealing elements to this set. So I feel like this one could be okay, but again, I don't know that well. And then the last Friends set, Igloo Holiday Adventure. It's cool, but kind of plain. A few Technic sets, they typically aren't great investments. This is the BMW bike. I saw in the Lego store, it is kind of cool, but I'm not investing in it. The McLaren F1, I have one behind me, as you see. I love it, but I'm not investing in it. And then the Bugatti Bolide, I think I'm saying that right. And this is one of those $50 pullbacks that are fun to play with. My son has a few, but not a good investment. A bunch of Disney sets. I pretty much avoid the Disney play sets for investing, but this one's Moana's Wayfinding Boat. The next one is Asha in the City of Roses. Kind of interesting. There aren't really any roses in this set. I haven't seen the movie, so maybe I'm getting that wrong. King Magnifico's Castle. I think I said that right. That's a tongue twister. Asha's Cottage. That one's kind of pretty looking. I like the purple and yellow contrasting colors. And then this one I already referenced a little bit earlier, 43232, Peter Pan and Wendy's Flight Over London. It's one of those Disney micro build vignettes or dioramas that I'm keeping an eye on. Ski and Climbing Center City set. I don't invest in city sets for the most part. They typically don't turn a good return on investment. Nintendo Entertainment System. This one has got some buzz on our positive table. It does have a 4.6 on brick set. That's impressive. 75257, the Millennium Falcon. We were thinking it was going to retire at the end of 23. It looks like it got extended a year, and I think I'm already hearing rumors that the next one is coming out soon. This and the 3 or 4 other very common, very recognizable Star Wars ships just get made over and over, so it's hard for the value to grow because the next one will be on the shelves soon. And a lot of times Lego continues to improve their design features and overall build experience, and so it seems like the next is always a little better than the previous. So I don't see much value in this, even though it is Star Wars. And then this Brick Built R2D2. I think this is the second one. The first one is only doing okay from years ago, and it sounds like Lego's going to make another one, but at like the $130, $150 price point. Kind of weird. That's going to hurt this one's value. I love R2D2, but I actually don't like the brick built R2D2s. They remind me of Yoda and Child that we talked about earlier, and they're just brick blobs. The huge UCS AT-AT, and honestly, I have no idea because it is $850, and I am not putting an ounce of mental energy into whether I should invest in an $850 Lego set. Heck, if we find it for a $550 or $600 discount, then maybe I'll pay attention. 75333, Obi-Wan Kenobi's Jedi Starfighter with the awesome Tanwi minifigure. The only reason it got this negative mention is because we all were excited about it as a good investment, retiring at the end of 2023. Now it's going an extra year, and so some people are like, I gotta watch this one, and maybe it's gonna be oversaturated or lose all the buzz. I'm not super excited about it at the moment, but I am going to watch it. 75356, the Executor Super Star Destroyer. I don't agree. I love the detail at this scale. I know there are no minifigures, but it sounds like Lego's going to come out with a few more in the midi scale size. So this is one I'm absolutely going to watch to pick up before the end of the year. 75364, New Republic E-Wing versus Shin Hati Starfighter. And honestly, I kind of agree on this one. Neither of the ships look great. The minifigures are okay. Maybe they're even a little better than okay, but the ships don't look great. 75365, the Yavin 4 Rebel Base. We've made fun of this one a lot in the past. It's this year's Justifier at $170 for 1,066 pieces. Parts of it look horrendous. It is way too open, but there are a ton of minifigures that might be the saving grace. Just like the Justifier, maybe if we can find it for 80 or 90 bucks, then I would be of interest, but otherwise I'm not paying any attention. 75369, the Boba Fett mech. Oh no, when I was talking at the beginning of this video, I did not realize that this one actually had a mention on our not top sets table. I don't agree. Like I mentioned earlier, that minifigure is awesome, and Boba Fett in a mech looks pretty cool. 76969 Hogwarts Astronomy Tower. Yep, I agree. And next there are a bunch of superhero sets, and I agree. I am passing on all of them. I am Groot, Spider-Man figure, Batman tumbler, $270 for just over 2,000 pieces. It's cool, but I don't see it as an investment. Ghost Rider mech and bike, Ant-Man construction figure, kind of cool, but the brick-built action figures have never done well for Lego or investors. Batman construction figure, Iron Man Hulkbuster versus Thanos, and I would love it if I never had to talk about a Hulkbuster set in one of my videos ever again, but you know, this is probably one of the better ones. All right, you know I'm being totally sarcastic, but it is a 4+ set, so we have to give it a break. And same thing with this one, the 4+ Batmobile set. I'm sure kids love playing with them, but obviously it's not what we're looking at. Endgame Final Battle. I don't like this one. I do like the other one. Okay. Motorcycle Chase, Spider-Man versus Doc Ock. Always love Doc Ock, but still a skip. And now a few Harry Potter sets. Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. Pass for me. Flying Ford Anglia 76424. I do not like that design. Absolutely a pass. Forbidden Forest Magical Creatures. Kind of cool color scheme. But now the Baby Thestral is in multiple sets, so a pass for me. A couple of Jurassic Park sets. I won't pronounce this one. And then the Triceratops Research is actually kind of cool, but whoa, $50 for 281 pieces, but really good Jeep that is pretty accurate to the original Jurassic Park movie. Another Sonic playset. And then the last two, the Chinese traditional festival sets, the Auspicious Dragon. I agree, but then this one, the Family Reunion Celebration, I'm not so sure. This one looks a lot like a modular building, or would be a great addition to a city. I know it's open in the back, so the dollhouse style, but still, there's a lot of great detail going on here. And let's look at the interior detail, which is also really good. And it's got a lot of depth to it. So there's a lot you can do with this. A little bathroom off to the side, rooftop table setting, good staircase, a lot of ornate details. I'm not saying it's gonna be a good investment, but it is one that I want to watch a little bit. All right, that covers all of the sets on this table. And these are the sets that are expected to retire at the end of 2024 that got not top set mentions. And now before we wrap up, I'm gonna give you the 3 that I absolutely agree with, even though there are a ton to choose from on this table. And then I'm gonna give you the 3 that I don't fully agree with and that I want to watch as potentially a good investment. But the first one that I absolutely agree with and am skipping for investing purposes is this junky little N1 Starfighter Microfighter at $16. The second one is this huge $550 Hulkbuster. Absolute mess. And the last one is Lego's funny joke, the Hoopty, and I have to give it to Lego. Thank you for pulling this prank on a set that people really weren't going to want anyways. So well done, Lego. And now we can easily pass on this set. All right, in third place that I think is one of interest is 21334, the Jazz Quartet, the Ideas set. Good price point and very visually appealing ideas. Most of them do okay, if not really well. So I'm going to watch it. I'm not saying I'm jumping all in to pick any up, but I'm going to watch it and maybe pick a few up. Second place is the Fender Stratocaster, and I didn't realize earlier, this is an idea set. I like it a lot. I talked about it at length. The fact that we've already been able to get it for $80, $90 is an okay sign. I mean, it means it's not selling too well, but it also means we have a shot at getting it at a really good discount before it completely retires, and maybe it's flying under the radar. And then my number one that I totally disagree with is the Star Wars Executor Super Star Destroyer. And actually this one I plan on picking up for investing. $70 is expensive. I'm sure we'll be able to get it for 50, maybe even 45, like some of the helmets right before they retired at the end of 2023. So 45 or 50 bucks. If Lego makes a few more in the mini scale size, then I am absolutely going for this as an investment. All right, that is everything. Thanks for watching, and thanks a lot for all of the suggestions in the comments. I am definitely working on some more videos. I want to look back at some of the 2022 data and compare the number of mentions and enthusiasm score to how those sets are performing today. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I've got another 1 or 2 videos planned going through a bunch of sets that I recently sold on Marketplace or eBay. And of course, we will soon have our first monthly set of data once we get into February, and I'll be making videos on that. So that's a wrap on this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and don't forget, my videos are for entertainment purposes only. I do not provide financial advice. You got to get that from somebody else.